Hey, it's Rajat from Ask Steve. Let's take a quick look at how, if you're in IT, AI, data, or ops, you can now build tools, personal co-pilots, to make your employees more effective and efficient using the Ask Steve platform. So here I am on this webpage. I see this word. I don't know what it means. Superposition. I'm going to right mouse click on it and say Ask Steve to. And then I have all these things that I can ask Steve to do. These are what are called skills. These are basically either LLM prompt macros that can take variables. So in this case, the word superposition is going to get sent in, or they are API calls to external systems. So I'm going to pick tell me what this means. And then right there, right in line, I get the answer. So the call was made to an LLM in the background. That data was brought back to me and presented to me right on the page that I was already on. Let me try something similar and say, translate this to Spanish. And then I get my Spanish translation again, right in line. So I never have to leave context and lose context and leave the page that I'm on. Now, here I am in Gmail. I can bring up Ask Steve over any editable text field, and I can say, write me an out of office email, and Steve will write me an email right there. So it can create content for you. It can also edit content for you. So I can say add emoji, and it will add emoji. And then I can say make this more formal, and it will make it more formal. Or I could even have an out of office haiku. So creating content, editing content as well. And so you can enable your employees to make arbitrary requests, or if you have very specific things that you want them to be able to get help with, you can implement those as well. Now, here I am on this page of speakers for a conference. It's a big, long page. I just want to know who works for Microsoft. So I opened up the Ask Steve side panel using the tab, and I asked the question, and it told me the answer, and I think that answer is correct. Yes, there is Susan from Microsoft right there. Now, not only can you chat with any web page, you can also run those skills on any web page. So let's say I want to capture all these people into like a Google Sheet or an Excel spreadsheet. If you've ever tried copying and pasting something like this, you know that you're going to end up with a bunch of garbage in one cell. It's not going to work right. But now I can ask Steve. I have a skill called the extract the people information from a web page. What it's doing is it's reading the entire page and then giving me a pipe separated list of name, role, company. And then this isn't even on the page, but it's generating a LinkedIn search link that can get me to that person's profile in 2 clicks rather than me having to do all that data entry and search by myself. Now I can copy this, paste it into Sheets or Excel, and then say pipe as a separator, and bam, I have everything in the right rows and columns. What would have taken me 30 minutes to do of copying and pasting by hand is now done in less than 1. So that's another way you can enable your employees and your team by giving them chat access to pages, but also the ability to run the skills that you create or that they create on the pages. Okay, let's go to LinkedIn now. Let's pretend that I have a salesperson on my team if I'm in sales ops, and I want to enable them to very quickly write personalized sales outreach messages to candidates based on their LinkedIn profile. So create a skill here, can deploy it to all our salespeople, and then they can customize it to their specific need. In this case, you're a salesperson named Anya Sterling. You work at Roadrunner Software. You're selling this road mapping software to product managers. Here's what it does. Read the person's LinkedIn profile, and then write them a note with a bunch of details here. So ordinarily, this would take a lot of time. If I'm doing it manually, I got to be reading this whole profile and figuring that out. If I'm trying to do it with an LLM, I have to have this prompt saved somewhere and then go copy and paste it into ChatGPT, come back here, copy this whole profile, paste that into ChatGPT, get the answer, come back, lots of back and forth. But now, because Ask Steve can read the context of the page that the employee is on, I can just pick that skill and say run, and it will run it. And so now it's customized this message for Alejandro, knows the people we have in common, knows that the company he's working at, all this kind of stuff is all included in the message. So now let's say I'm going to do this often. So if I'm going to do it often, what I can do is I can add my own button to LinkedIn, my own aftermarket button. So I can choose where to add it, and I'm going to pick to anchor it right here on that big white section, and I'm going to put it on the top right of that section. And then right now it's only on this person's profile page, but if I get rid of that, it's on everybody's profile page. So just like that, I added my own button to LinkedIn that I can go to anybody's profile page, and I can see that button there, and then I can press it, and with one click, I've got a personalized sales outreach message, knows who we have in common, knows she worked at Google, all that kind of stuff, all done with one click. Think about how much time that just saved for your salesperson. Okay, and now the final thing I want to show you is we've just seen a bunch of examples. We saw the right-click menu, we saw any editable text field, we saw chatting, and now we've seen the button, all these different ways of getting help from AI. But it's not just AI. Ask Steve can talk to any API. And if it can talk to any API, that means you can have any arbitrary code running on the other end of that API that can do anything you want. So let me show you an example. Here is my Salesforce. I have no leads in Salesforce right now, as you can see. I'm going to go back to the speakers page, and I'm going to pick Harmony here, and I'm going to right mouse click and say, ask Steve to add lead to Salesforce. So now what's actually happening is it's calling a backend API that's doing a number of things. The first thing it's doing is it's taking this text that I sent in and sending it to a large language model and saying, please split this into name, role, company for me, because I need these separate fields in order to be able to write it into Salesforce. So it splits it out, then it writes it into Salesforce. If we go back and refresh Salesforce here, we can see I now have Harmony in here. And then it pulls the company and it queries my HubSpot marketing CRM and says, am I emailing anybody else from this company currently? It pulled back these 4 results, and then it's hitting my Google Sheets order tracker and looking for any orders that have a company name of Lumon. And so what just happened here is with one click, I interacted with an AI and 3 separate enterprise software systems. What normally would have taken me probably 10 minutes of screwing around in a whole bunch of different things, navigating, data entry, etc., all done in an instant, and I never had to leave the page that I was on, the context that I was on. So we often call this the single pane of glass, this idea now that like your enterprise data can become boundaryless and can be made available to your users right where they already are doing their work so that you can make them more efficient and effective at their jobs. So now, if this looks interesting to you, if you think you might be able to use Ask Steve in your company, please feel free to reach out to us, sales@asksteve.to. If you're in the IT, data, AI, ops, if you're in any way responsible for making your employees more effective and efficient at their jobs, we think Ask Steve can be a giant help for you, and it's enterprise ready and ready to go. Thanks so much, and look forward to hearing from you.